Hello, glad to have you with us on NHK Newsline. I'm Yamamoto Miki in Tokyo. We begin with a developing story here in Japan. Police have arrested the suspect in the deadly arson attack on the Kyoto Animation Studio in July of last year. The attack garnered international headlines as the studio has anime fans around the world. Aoba Shinji was arrested at a hospital where he had been receiving treatment for burns to his entire body. The 42-year-old man is suspected of setting gasoline alight in the Kyoto studio on July 18th. The attack left 36 people dead and 33 injured. All the victims were employees of Kyoto Animation. Police say Aoba has admitted the allegation is true. Investigators suspect the attack was carefully planned. Aoba traveled from his home in Saitama near Tokyo 3 days before the attack. He was caught near the scene after setting fire to the studio. He shouted that his novel had been stolen. Police have since learned that Aoba sent at least 2 novels as part of a contest to Kyoto Animation, but the company said his works did not pass the screening. Aoba himself was seriously injured. It appears Aoba is unable to walk and was carried on a stretcher from the hospital to the police station. Police say that along with treatment taking more time than expected, the coronavirus also postponed his arrest. They had prepared to accept Aoba by reforming a police facility to accommodate his medical restrictions, but the nationwide spread of the virus meant they had to wait. Kyoto Animation issued a statement on the arrest. It said, "There is nothing more to say because the victims will never return, nor will their injuries heal regardless of excuses or regrets from the suspect." As Japan comes out of nearly 2 months under a state of emergency, the government is moving to shore up the economy while businesses work to bring customers back. The cabinet is set to approve a secondary supplementary budget bill for the current fiscal year on Wednesday. It's expected to exceed 100 trillion yen, or about $940 billion. The budget will include cash handouts of up to 200,000 yen for healthcare workers. It also includes a plan to help struggling shops by covering 2/3 of their rent for 6 months. With the state of emergency lifted, restaurants are now able to stay open an extra 2 hours until 10 p.m., but business is far from brisk for now. A Japanese-style pub in downtown Tokyo opened after about a month and a half with a new focus on wearing masks, ventilation, and disinfection.
It's fun. I mainly telework, so face-to-face conversation feels so precious to me.
We have about 20-30% of customers compared to before. It can't be helped, though, as we've just reopened the pub.
Some commercial complexes are preparing to reopen as the capital moves to fully restart economic activities. Still, the optimism is coupled with anxiety. The staff at this clothing store wonders if customers will return. Sales are only about 30% of what they made for the same period last year. In total, more than 16,600 people have tested positive in Japan, and 862 have died. People in Britain are angry at a chief advisor to Prime Minister Boris Johnson who was found to have traveled hundreds of kilometers during the country's lockdown. Dominic Cummings reportedly drove more than 400 kilometers from London with his family in late March to visit his parents' home. Cummings says he wanted his extended family to care for his son in case he and his wife both fell ill with the coronavirus. His wife was already showing symptoms. Johnson is defending his top aide, saying Cummings acted responsibly, legally, and with integrity. But Douglas Ross, a junior minister in the Scotland office, resigned on Tuesday. He released a statement that said the vast majority of people did not agree with Cummings' action. Opposition lawmakers are also crying foul, and a public opinion poll showed that 71% of respondents believe Cummings breached the country's stringent stay-at-home orders. 59% said he should resign. Britain began easing its lockdown measures this month. Experts say the controversy could prompt citizens to flout the government's rules, raising the risk of a resurgence of infections. Traders have returned to the floor of the New York Stock Exchange after 2 months away, but their workplace is not the one they left behind. NHK World's Catherine Kobayashi reports.
New York's governor honored a tradition that goes back a century and a half. He rang the bell at the New York Stock Exchange after months of silence.
They wanted to get back to business, but they wanted to be smart, and they're doing it in a way that keeps people safe.
Traders have been working electronically. Now only a quarter of the normal number of them will be allowed on the floor. They can't take public transit. They have to get their temperature checked, wear face masks, and maintain social distancing. The measures did not appear to dampen their optimism. The Dow Jones Industrial Average jumped more than 500 points, up more than 2%. Many Americans have twisted together the stock market and the economy ever since the Great Depression. But stocks do not reliably reflect economic health. The official unemployment rate has risen above 14%, and the Congressional Budget Office estimates the economy will shrink this year by more than 5%.
I think the market needs to see our economy just grow and move in the right direction. Clearly, what's happened is going to affect major corporations.
Traders say Americans have been waiting for signs, and they say the reopening of the trading floor signals things are moving forward. Catherine Kobayashi, NHK World, New York.
Now, France is set to inject 8 billion euros into its auto industry, which has been hard hit by a plunge in sales due to the coronavirus. President Emmanuel Macron announced a deal worth around $8.8 billion on Tuesday during a visit to a car parts plant in northern France. The package includes subsidies for people who scrap gas-powered vehicles made more than 15 years ago to buy electric cars instead. The program starts on June 1st. The government is also pledging support for development of electric car batteries and fuel cell vehicles. It hopes to make French automakers more competitive in these fields.
I want France to be the first country in Europe to produce more than 1 million electric and hybrid vehicles annually within 5 years.
These latest steps are part of Macron's plan to make the country's auto industry a leader in environmentally friendly technologies. Let's go to Thailand now. The country has fought the pandemic with widespread testing and social restrictions. The measures have kept new infections relatively low through May, on some days even at zero. But the measures have come at a cost. Money problems and lost business due to the ongoing state of emergency are pushing many people to the edge. NHK World's Sataya Krakuntot has the story.
This government-run pawn shop is busier than ever. Many Thai people have had their work halted and seen their income plunge. They feel pressure to pledge their possessions to make ends meet. Brokers say the number of customers at such pawn shops across the country in March and April was 60% higher than in the same period last year.
I need to pawn off my mother's cherished gold belt. It's the last thing I want to give up, but I have no choice.
The government promised $155 in monthly aid for a 3-month period to people whose income has decreased. About 30 million Thais have applied, but only half of them have received the money. Many find the registration process too complicated. Last month, taxi drivers protested at the finance ministry, demanding the process be sped up. Nam Jiem Supa joined the protest. He had lost most of his income. He was told to resubmit his request for assistance and left empty-handed. Later at home, Nam hung himself. He had missed 2 payments on his taxi and was afraid it would be reprocessed.
วันนั้นที่ผูกคอตายที่ตัวอามีเงิน60 บาททั้งตัวมี60 บาทคิดว่าอาเขาคงสุดๆ
Mental health officials say the suicide rate in Thailand between January to April was 20% higher than during the same period last year.
People who commit suicide don't always have a history of mental illness. Some act on impulse because of pressure or not just being able to cope with changes.
The private sector is stepping in to offer alternative means of financial relief. A foundation is distributing cash to people in struggling communities in Bangkok. The organizers believe money could mean life or death to many Thais in this crisis.
This money can pay at least for their gas, medicine, or anything they need to buy. Some organizations offer free food, but not many provide money.
Thailand is seeing a significant drop in coronavirus infections, but the economic consequences are likely to be felt for a long time. The country is facing yet another major challenge to protect the vulnerable group. Sathaya Kraikumthot, NHK World, Bangkok.
In world weather, people in many parts of the United States are being advised to stay alert as they face severe weather conditions. Let's go over to our meteorologist Tsietsi Monare for the details.
There are certainly lots happening into the United States, especially towards the north, as well as over the plains and also in towards the west. Let's take a look at this video where we saw residents capturing a vortex in Arkansas on Monday. It was created by an updraft due to unstable weather conditions. Fortunately, a tornado did not touch down and no injuries were reported. But as meteorologists say, it's quite beautiful, but at the same time, very dangerous. So please make sure you are safe at all times. And we can see a lot of other pockets of severe weather areas can be noticed from Texas going all the way towards Florida and into the far east coast. So please do take care if you can. And then on the opposite side, over the west, we're seeing heat conditions for California going down in towards Arizona, where we're seeing temperatures increasing to as high as 41 degrees for Phoenix. So quite a hot day is expected there. Residents are urged to stay in air-conditioned places, make sure you are hydrated, and don't stay out in the sun for too long. We're seeing other temperatures quite high. Los Angeles at 28 degrees and another 28 can be seen towards Toronto in Canada. Rainy weather is expected towards Miami. And across over towards India, where we've seen temperatures soaring up into the 40s for places such as New Delhi. And for Pakistan, where we saw even hotter temperatures are expected. You can see about 41 towards Nawabshah. So it is expected to be quite deadly along those parts. So please make sure you are safe at all times. A bit of moisture though, and rainfall is moving from Bangladesh all the way in towards the far eastern side. Hong Kong is going to be affected, and as you move over towards the island of Okinawa in Japan, you should be seeing similar temperatures and rainfall, all due to a frontal system that is sort of stationary and not moving much along those parts. Taiwan will reach a maximum of about 27 in Taipei, 27 also for Tokyo, and Seoul is going to be sunny with a daytime high of about 24. That's all for the weather. Take care.
All right, that's NHK Newsline for this hour. I'm Yamamoto Miki in Tokyo. Thank you for staying with us on NHK World Japan. Stay safe.